friends, Esdeekid. Are you from? You know who Esdeekid is, the rapper?
Your fans have lost their minds and they are saying that you are Esdeekid.
Is that true?
I've got 2 words on that.
Go on.
This is the story of how the internet became convinced that Timothée Chalamet was living a secret double life as a masked UK rapper named Esdeekid. For weeks in late 2024, one of Hollywood's biggest stars couldn't escape questions about whether he was actually the mysterious artist taking over Spotify with over 13 million monthly listeners, and his responses only made things worse. What happened next was one of the wildest celebrity conspiracy theories of the year, and by the end of this, you'll understand why even the most skeptical fans started questioning reality. Before we get into the chaos, you need to understand who Esdeekid actually is, because this guy came out of absolutely nowhere and took over the music world in less than a year.
Timothée Chalamet tongue-tied when asked by Heart Radio if he's masquerading as British mystery rapper Esdeekid. The musician, who's never revealed his face, has seen some traction on TikTok and on the UK charts.
Esdeekid is an anonymous rapper from Liverpool, England, who performs with a balaclava covering his entire face, except for his eyes. Cloud rap and experimental UK underground music is what he makes, and literally everything about him is a mystery. Nobody knows his real name, nobody knows his age, and every single detail about his personal life stays completely private. His first appearance was in 2023 on a track called Altered by an artist called Dual Spines. May 2024 brought his first solo track on SoundCloud, a remix of Black Beatles, but February 2025 was when things really exploded. A song called LV Sandals, featuring Fake Mink and Rico Ace, went absolutely viral on TikTok, and within weeks, he jumped from 200,000 monthly Spotify listeners to becoming one of the fastest-growing artists in the world. That's not an exaggeration.
An awful digital footprint that exists of early onset ambitious rap career that never materialized.
It's beyond. There's nothing you can't do.
I appreciate you saying that.
June 2025 saw the release of his debut album called Rebel, and by the end of November, it became the most streamed hip-hop album in the world on Spotify. Phantom, his most popular song, has over 90 million streams, while another track called Century racked up nearly 10 million streams in just 3 weeks. The album peaked at number 16 on the UK albums chart, and even hit number 67 on the US Billboard 205 months after it came out. December 2025 rolled around and Esdeekid had 13.2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. He went from 200,000 listeners in February to over 13 million by December, which is insane growth that basically never happens in music. Pitchfork named him one of the year's breakout stars. Dazed called him the fastest-growing artist in the world right now. And The Face described his sold-out show at Electric Ballroom in Camden as legendary. Tickets to his shows were reselling for over £200. This wasn't some small underground artist anymore. This was a legitimate phenomenon taking over streaming platforms and selling out venues across Europe. The whole time, absolutely nobody knew who was behind the mask. Now let's talk about Timothee, who obviously needs no introduction. 29 years old, one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, dating Kylie Jenner, and in December 2024, he was promoting 2 major films including A Complete Unknown, where he plays Bob Dylan. But here's what you might not know about him. Timothee has a secret rap past that most people have completely forgotten about. Back in high school at LaGuardia High School in New York City, Timothee went by the rap name Lil Timmy Tim, and this wasn't just messing around in his bedroom. Talent shows featured his performances, full music videos got made, and he was genuinely trying to make it as a rapper.
Little Timmy when you were 12.
Little Timmy Tim.
Let me tell you, Lil Timmy does not have the same ring to it.
A video exists of him at age 12 doing a choreographed Soulja Boy dance. Footage shows him in a pink wig performing Nicki Minaj's Roman's Revenge, and he even made a rap dedicated to his statistics teacher, Ms. Lawton, that apparently earned him a D+ on that project. The Graham Norton Show in 2019 saw him openly admit that he rapped in high school as Lil Timmy Tim. Interviews over the years have featured him talking about his adolescent dreams of being a rapper. He's called himself an original Barb day one when discussing his Nicki Minaj fandom. And we know he has serious musical ability because he performed over 40 Bob Dylan songs live for his recent movie role. And here's the thing that's actually relevant to this story. Timothée is known for being playful and doing unexpected viral stunts, like when he showed up to a Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest in New York City in October 2024 and shocked everyone by actually being there. This is the type of celebrity who enjoys messing with people in creative ways and pulling off elaborate surprises. So when you have a mysterious masked rapper taking over the UK music scene, and a Hollywood actor with rap ambitions, and a history of elaborate pranks, people started connecting dots that seemed too perfect to ignore. November 11th, 2024 was when everything changed. A TikToker named KJ Freeman posted a video that opened with these words, "What I'm about to say is probably one of the craziest things that you hear on this app today." What followed was a full theory explaining why he believed Timothée Chalamet was secretly Esdeekid, and the video went absolutely viral across TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter within hours. The evidence was kind of compelling, which is why millions of people started taking it seriously. Physical similarities came first. Esdeekid only shows his eyes because of the balaclava, and fans started pointing out that his eye color, eye shape, and eyebrows looked eerily similar to Timothée's. You can't see his full face, but what you could see seemed to match in ways that felt too specific to be coincidence. The name connection was next. Both names contain double E's in Timothee and Esdeekid, which, okay, that one's a bit of a stretch, but people were looking for patterns everywhere and finding them. Fashion was the third piece. Both Timothée and Esdeekid had been photographed wearing identical skull print bandanas or scarves, and some fans joked they patronized the same scarf shop. For a lot of people, this felt like too specific of a detail to ignore. But the fourth piece of evidence is what really made people stop scrolling and start believing.
Things that you hear on this app today. This is gonna sound crazy, but the world that we live in today, I don't really think so. That rapper, Esdeekid, the Scotch, UK drill rapper that has music with Fake Mink and the very famous song LV Sandals, I believe that may be Timothée Chalamet.
August 29th, 2024 saw Timothée Chalamet attend a concert by an underground UK rapper named Fake Mink at All Star Boxing Gym in Maida Vale, London. This wasn't a mainstream show at a big venue. This was a small underground show in London, and Fake Mink is the same artist who collaborates with Esdeekid and appears on LV Sandals, the exact song that made Esdeekid blow up on TikTok. KJ Freeman asked the obvious question that nobody could answer. Why would he take time out of his day to go to that? One of the biggest movie stars in the world, attending a tiny underground UK rap show, featuring an artist who collaborates with this mysterious masked rapper, felt like too much of a coincidence. Timing was the fifth thing people pointed to. Esdeekid only really emerged publicly in 2024, the same year Timothée has been everywhere promoting multiple films, which meant he could theoretically be building this secret music career on the side while doing press tours. The accent thing came next. Esdeekid raps with a thick Scouse accent from Liverpool, but Timothée has proven he can do accents through his work. A French accent in The King, embodying Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, and interviews where he's talked about his fascination with the Hull accent, which is a very niche British accent that most Americans wouldn't even know exists. Fans argued that if anyone could pull off a convincing Liverpool accent, it would be him, and as one person commented, if he can rap with a heavy Scouse accent, he deserves the Oscar. KJ Freeman's main argument about why this would even make sense tied everything together. He pointed out that the actor-to-musician crossover is incredibly difficult, saying, the only person who really managed it was Jamie Foxx, and even then, people thought he was doing a Ray Charles impersonation. But if you're someone like Timothée who's always had rap dreams, how do you pursue that without everyone immediately dismissing it or comparing it to your acting career? You do it anonymously, you wear a mask, you use a fake name, and you let the music speak for itself. People online said a Hannah Montana-style secret seems right up his street, given his playful personality and history of pulling off surprises.
This is my spidey senses tingling. I have no hard evidence on this. All I have is pure speculation and maybe Chinese eye software.
The theory exploded faster than anyone expected. Rolling Stone covered it, CNN picked it up, Cosmopolitan wrote about it, Yahoo Entertainment ran stories, Capital XTRA discussed it, The Mirror published articles, ABC News reported on it, and everyone was suddenly talking about whether one of Hollywood's biggest stars was secretly a masked UK rapper. Both Timothee and Esdeekid stayed completely silent about the whole thing, which only made people believe it more. Okay, so here's where things got really wild, because when Timothée finally started getting asked about this rumor in interviews during December 2024, he absolutely refused to deny it. December 11th, 2025 brought him to Heart Breakfast Radio with Amanda Holden and Jamie Theakston, and the hosts straight up asked him about the rumor. Amanda said, "Your fans have lost their minds and they are saying that you are Esdeekid," while Jamie Theakston asked directly, "Is that true?" Timothy's response was not what anyone expected. "I got no comment on that. I got no comment," he said, and he didn't laugh it off or immediately deny it like most celebrities would. He gave no comment, like he was hiding something. The hosts mentioned the similar eyes and the same scarf, and Timothée just laughed, hesitated, stumbled over his words with this mischievous smile on his face that made everyone watching even more suspicious. And that's when he said the words that sent the internet into absolute chaos. "All will be revealed in due time." What does that even mean? If you're not Esdeekid, you just say no, you're not secretly a UK rapper. That's ridiculous. You don't say all will be revealed in due time unless you're deliberately keeping the mystery alive and enjoying watching everyone spiral. His BBC interview with Colin Patterson got the same treatment. Asked to clear up the rumor while in the UK, he gave another no-comment response and moved on without actually denying anything.
Last second you were Scottish and it was too late. I tried to take a Sharpie and cross it out, but I apologize.
I hope this is not your allegiance for the World Cup.
No, it's not. My allegiance is to two countries, not even one, neither of them which is England, one of which is France, one of which is the United States.
Other December interviews showed him making these oddly specific British references that added fuel to the fire. Lewis Hamilton, Victoria, and David Beckham, and Fake Mink all got named as British celebrities, worthy of wearing a Marty Supreme jacket, and he name-dropped Susan Boyle, who's a pretty niche British celebrity, for an American actor to reference out of nowhere. Fans felt like he was deliberately confusing everyone about potentially being British or having deep British connections that nobody knew about. The internet went into overdrive analyzing every word, every pause, every smile. Some thought he was absolutely trolling everyone and having the time of his life, while others genuinely believed he might be telling the truth in the most cryptic way possible. Either way, his responses made the rumor even bigger instead of shutting it down like any normal celebrity would do. But okay, let's be real here. As much as this theory was fun to believe in, there were some pretty serious problems with it that people started pointing out. That Liverpool accent was the first major issue. Esdeekid doesn't just throw in a few British words here and there. He raps with an authentic, thick Scouse accent consistently across hours of music and performances. That's incredibly difficult to fake even for a talented actor, and Liverpool locals would absolutely be able to tell if it was fake. Nobody from Liverpool was calling him out, which suggested the accent was real. Esdeekid's online footprint was the second problem. A BandLab profile dated back to April 2024, a Tumblr started in June 2024, and a Letterboxd account showed movie reviews from 2024 where he liked Ocean's 11 and Seven, neither of which star Timothée. If this was really Timothée's secret account, wouldn't he review his own movies, or at least avoid movies entirely to not give himself away? A Cash App profile supposedly listed the name Demario Jones, though that information wasn't verified. Scheduling conflicts created the third major hole in the theory. October 2025 saw Esdeekid perform in Milan while Timothée was reportedly in New York City at the same time. unless he had a private jet on standby and was pulling off Clark Kent-level quick changes between continents. That timeline didn't really work out. Physical features were the fourth issue some fans raised. People who looked closely at the eyes and facial features said they looked nothing alike, with one person commenting, "It's so clearly not him, though. Esdeekid's eyes are way more downturned than his." An alternative theory started growing that Esdeekid was actually a former artist named Dual Spines who had changed his name in 2024.
Apparently, people are saying that he is the up-and-coming rapper Esdeekid. I'm laughing because I already know the truth, but it's just like, let's play into this. Let's happily play into this, because why the hell not?
Remember that first song Esdeekid appeared on was a Dual Spines track called Altered, and some people heard vocal similarities that suggested they might be the same person under different names, which would explain the mystery without involving Timothee at all. But even with all this counter-evidence piling up, the rumor refused to die. Timothée kept saying no comment in interviews, and as long as he wouldn't deny it directly, people kept believing that maybe, just maybe, this wild theory was actually true. And that's when mid-December 2024 brought everything crashing down. December 16th, 2 days before the 18th, saw Esdeekid perform at a show in Brooklyn, and during that performance there was a moment where he performed without his ski mask covering his face. A TikTok user named Scrim Horan posted a video from the show with a caption that said it all, "Disappointed it's not Timothée Chalamet." The video showed Esdeekid's face clearly for the first time, and it was very obviously not Timothée Chalamet standing on that stage. The video went viral immediately and marked the first clear instance of Esdeekid being seen unmasked in public. Fans could see there were clear differences between Esdeekid's appearance and Timothée's features. The shape of the face was different, the details didn't match, and it became really hard to keep arguing they were the same person when you could literally see they weren't. Brooklyn footage shifted the tone of the entire conversation overnight. Some fans continued to enjoy the theory as a running joke, but the visual evidence made it almost impossible to sustain serious claims anymore. Attention started moving back to Esdeekid's music rather than his anonymity, which was probably long overdue. The reveal reframed the whole narrative around Esdeekid himself in a way that was actually better for him. He wasn't Timothée Chalamet living a secret double life. He was his own person, a legitimate artist who had built an incredible career on his own merit without needing to be anyone else.
And here's another interesting twist. Esdeekid just announced a tour of North America and Australia. All of these dates conveniently make time for major award season events like the Oscars, the Golden Globe.
The mystery of his identity had actually overshadowed how talented he really was and what he'd accomplished in less than a year. So, looking back at this whole situation, what was it really about? This was an internet-fueled conspiracy theory based on circumstantial similarities that ultimately proved to be unfounded, but it generated absolutely massive publicity for both Timothee and Esdeekid during a time when both of them benefited from the attention. Timothee was promoting major films, and Esdeekid was cementing his place as one of the biggest new artists in music, and suddenly, everyone was talking about both of them at the same time. Neither of them ever confirmed any connection between each other. No evidence existed beyond visual comparisons and circumstantial observations like the fake Mink concert and the matching scarves. But the theory took on a life of its own because it hit this perfect sweet spot of being just plausible enough to be interesting while being just implausible enough to be exciting and get people engaged. Comparisons to other anonymous artist reveals started flying around. Frank Ocean was discovered to have been Lonnie Bro, Captain Murphy turned out to be Flying Lotus, and people love a good mystery in music. When you combine a masked artist with a celebrity who has the skills and personality to pull off an elaborate prank, you get exactly this kind of viral speculation that spreads faster than anyone can control. Media outlets wrote think pieces about anonymity in popular music and the role of online speculation in shaping artist narratives. The whole thing became this fascinating case study in how quickly theories can spread on social media and how circumstantial evidence can seem convincing when people want to believe something badly enough. And honestly, Timothee's no-comment responses were either the most brilliant trolling of 2024, or he genuinely enjoyed watching everyone spiral into chaos, trying to figure out if it was true. Either way, he played it perfectly by never shutting it down but also never confirming it. So when the truth came out through the Brooklyn face reveal, nobody could accuse him of lying to anyone. Here's what the real takeaway from all this should be. Esdeekid is an incredibly talented artist who went from 200,000 monthly listeners to over 13 million in less than a year through his own work. Rebel became the most streamed hip-hop album in the world on Spotify. Pitchfork named him a breakout star. The Guardian praised his sound. The Face called his tour legendary. And Dazed recognized him as the fastest-growing artist in the world right now. And for a few weeks in late 2024, nobody was talking about any of that. They were talking about whether he was secretly Timothée Chalamet instead of celebrating what he'd actually accomplished. The Brooklyn face reveal in mid-December 2024 ended the speculation, but it also refocused attention on what actually matters, which is the music. Esdeekid built something real and substantial on his own without needing to be anyone else. And whether or not people thought he was a Hollywood actor, the streams don't lie. Over 90 million people listened to Phantom. Millions more discovered LV sandals, and Century, and fell in love with his sound. And his sold-out shows with tickets reselling for over £200 proved he'd earned his place legitimately. As for Timothée, he got to enjoy one of the wildest rumors of his career, playfully refused to deny it in the most suspicious way possible, and came out of it looking like the chaotic king we all know he is, while promoting his films to a wider audience than ever. So was Timothée Chalamet secretly Esdeekid? No, the Brooklyn show made that pretty definitive when fans saw his actual face. Did he absolutely love every second of people thinking he might be? Based on those no-comment responses, and that mischievous smile he couldn't hide during interviews? Absolutely yes. And honestly, in a world where everything is so carefully managed by publicists and PR teams who shut down rumors immediately, it was kind of fun to live in the chaos for a few weeks and wonder if one of Hollywood's biggest stars was actually pulling off the most elaborate double life in entertainment history. The theory was wrong, but the story it created gave us something entertaining to follow and debate online. And both Timothée and Esdeekid ended 2024 with more attention, more fans, and more reason to smile about how the internet can turn the wildest speculation into the biggest story of the moment.